Hello, this is Matthew Lim with Organizational Behavior and Management. This is the lesson 14 video reflection and analysis. So, the first topic, why is it important for company leaders to seek employment or employee feedback about their successes and challenges? And what should leaders do with the feedback they obtain? So, I would think it's important for company leaders to seek employee feedback because that creates a open line of communication and just more transparency between the leaders and employees. If certain employees have issues with certain processes or just leadership styles from different leaders, they can be open about that, and there could be certain change within the company that could be for the better, and it could promote better just cohesion and better just trust between employee and employer. If employees have places where they can go to their leader's office, or they can send them emails, or do anonymous questionnaires about different feedbacks about their employees or employers, it'll be a lot better for everyone if everyone could just communicate what's going on, and it's just important for the feedback to be had or to be given to their employers. So, and what should leaders do with the feedback they obtain? So, when leaders obtain the feedback, they should probably be more open to it. They should not be resentful or angry towards their employees that give the feedback. Don't be resentful, like be open to it, take it with open arms, like, hey, maybe if my employees aren't really liking the way my managing is, I should probably improve upon myself and do something better about it. And it's just better for everyone if the leaders improve upon their leadership, because say if the leader is a little more micromanagey or just not very involved, they can be like, hey, everyone, I realize that they need to be more like open about their changes. So they need to be, hey, everyone, I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be changing my management style or leadership style, because I realize that a lot of you are not very happy about me micromanaging, or just being not as super involved as I should be in the way a leader should. So I will be, being more involved, but taking a step back from, over your shoulders. I will be here as a guide more than a dictator, and I will let you guys work the best you can and be more helpful for you. So, because leaders have to be also not only be leaders, but they need to be guides in how things should be done. So, yeah, just leaders should really just take the feedback and just make sure they improve upon themselves, make sure processes are being improved, their leadership skills are being improved, everything needs to or they need to take the positive feedback, the successes, and keep reinforcing those, keep doing what they should be doing. And again, just it's important for just everyone to be in good communication with each other, make sure that everyone is working well together, again, because a company needs to be, or the company's backbone is its employees. So if the employees aren't happy, they should really have a space to be able to talk about their problems, their successes, and be able to give the feedback back to their leaders and make sure that those kinds of changes are being made, or improvements, or things are staying the way they should. So things like that. So the second topic, why is it necessary or desirable for employees to understand how and why company change is taking place? To what extent do you think the best practices actually followed in the real world? So I would think it's necessary or desirable for employees to understand how and why company change is taking place, is because it clear communication is always key within an organization. Everyone needs to be on the level. They need to be notified as soon as possible as any changes are happening, because mistakes could happen, small mistakes or even big mistakes could happen if they weren't notified, or unethical dilemmas could happen if certain rules or policies were changed, just stuff like that. So making sure that changes are being you know are being known to everyone that needs to know about them, if it's affecting their work, or um, just anything. So yeah, it's just making sure that everyone is on board and on the level is probably very important and necessary, and making sure that everyone is open to the changes. Sometimes people may not want the changes to happen. Maybe certain people may not want the change to happen, and they could give their feedback on why the change shouldn't happen, or maybe something else should happen, like stuff like that. So it's for everyone. So as long as everyone knows and has their opinions, it'll be very important for everyone. And to what extent do you think this best practice is actually followed in the real world? So I wouldn't think it would be super, like, the extent of it would probably be, it would be good, but not everyone would be like in the know, because some things happen. People may not get the message right away, or their technology is always probably against us. Our computers or laptops may die out, or the internet stops working, and our phones just we just dropped our phones in some water, things like that, and we can't check our emails, or we don't get the phone calls right away, or we can't attend meetings that we need to be in. Sometimes we could get sick, injured, or a family member gets sick or injured, some stuff like that. Life happens. So, in the real world, life happens. Not everything is going to be perfect and the way that things were supposed to go. Some unplanned or unforeseen instances may occur, and we need to make sure everyone is on the level, so as soon as possible. So yeah, just making, to the extent of it, just making sure, or people aren't always going to be on board with it or on the level because of that, because life happens. Or if traveling too, also, some people may be out of the country for work or just vacation, and they may not, be looking at their emails, or they just weren't able to attend the meeting because of it. Stuff like that, just there's going to be some life problems or work problems that may occur, and we may not always be looking at the emails or phone calls or texts that we receive from everybody. So the third topic: do you think that promoting a communal culture is capable or compatible with promoting company diversity? Why or why not? So I would think that promoting a communal culture is compatible with promoting company diversity, because I feel like they do work hand in hand to an extent, but not totally define a company. People's like cultures. We don't want to have like people's entire cultures and beliefs defining an entire company, but we do want to have their perspectives and their ideas. So that's why I would think they would be compatible, but it would be to an extent. It would, because you want to have people, you want to have different mindsets, you want to have different perspectives within a company, but you also don't want to make them like conform to certain things in the company. You want to make sure that people are going into the company with level heads, and not going into the company just to get hammered into a spot, and making sure that they are complying with the company diversity. You want to make sure because you're also building kind of a community within a company. So in order to do that, you need to have different diverse people with different beliefs, values, and all that. So you just got to make sure that everyone is, well, you got to promote community culture with company diversity, but not always conform people to that. So yeah, again, this community culture and is compatible with promoting company diversity, but it's not. It's going to be, again, to an extent, because not all the time that community culture defines a company and vice versa. But yeah, it's just, yeah, they're just going to be compatible to an extent. So, fourth topic. Do different cultures experience high power or low power distance in businesses, or in a business, as a reflection of their mode of political governance? Explain your answer. So, hmm, uh, so yeah, I would think different cultures do experience high power or low power distance, because it's like high power is the like more hierarchical power, like whatever the leader does or says, the subordinates or employees will do. And low power is more like equal opportunity. Everyone has a chance to do what they need to do or what they can do and all that. So I would think like it, again, wouldn't probably totally define businesses. Political governance wouldn't totally define businesses, but it would have a hand in some of it, like its cultures, basically. Because our governments do have some effects on our cultures. Maybe more authoritarian governments are more leader focused, so people are going to like follow whatever the leader does or says. Probably places, like North Korea or China or Russia, they're going to do whatever the leader says to an extent, because again, political governance won't is going to affect the culture or work culture, but not totally define it. So, and then low power distance, so like equal opportunity, so places like Canada or the US or the UK, places like that, people are going to be able to have equal opportunity to do what they need to do. But yeah, I would, like I said, it's just there's going to be some like effects from governments, because we're looking at the US. There's a lot of, our government does affect how we do work sometimes, or how our mindsets are sometimes. So it's just a matter of the culture and the government. But it's not going to totally define who we are, and when we're working, we're going to just, again, it just doesn't fully define our work culture. But what's other like countries like Russia, maybe like North Korea, like places like that, like are going to be a lot more dictatorship based. People are going to just be like kind of like ants. They're just going to follow orders, do what they need to do, but probably not like be as ambitious in their work. Maybe they won't be as like, oh, I need to impress my boss or stuff like that, compared to like here in the US, where we need to do everything we can to impress our higher ups to move up in the ladder. But yeah, it just depends, because again, like I said, it's not going to totally define our our work culture and work ethics, because not the government, because we still have, each person still has their own like core beliefs and their own like values outside of the government and their influences. People are still going to maybe make the right choices or wrong choices depending on their values, and sometimes the government or political governance won't always have an effect on that. We're just going to have our own point of views and perspectives outside of that. So yeah, it's just, again, just yeah, that's all I would say. It's just different cultures do experience it, but it's to an extent. people will have different experiences outside of their or with their work and political government. So yeah, thank you.